Okay, I'm going to check. Can someone actually say something for a moment? I just want to make sure that my headphones are working right.
Hello. Can you hear me?
No wonder. All right, let's.
Are they working right?
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Let's try it now.
How is it?
Meaning
Testing 1, 2,
somebody
3.
say something, or am I in trouble?
You're in trouble,
Testing
Chad.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, wait.
Oh boy, this could be a problem. Looks like. Give me 1 second. Okay, can someone say anything right now?
Anything
Testing
right
1, 2,
now.
3. Testing 1, 2, 3.
Okay, I'm not sure what happened, but looks like I got the sound back. I dropped my computer. It was in a case. It was very hard. It was in a hard plastic case, but then I think I'm wondering if something got jarred anyway. This could be just the way it's acting because it hasn't been online for a while. But Julianne, you just single yourself out and just say something.
We have no symbol.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, let me, this could actually just be my damn headset. Say something one more time.
Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, okay, good. All right, we are awful. We are good. All right, that should do it. Well, welcome to Stone Soup, the online open mic. In place of a live show because of injury of a loved one, I'm staying home and hosting the open mic. A couple of people are also out. Nancy Dodson and Carol Weston, our two phone callers, are over at a Grolier reading to see Tom Daly. So we're going to make our best show without them, do our best. Hopefully CC and Bill will join us shortly. So we are going to get a move on and get started. The Ramdonator 5000. Maybe not be so random because it's focused on the person who we haven't seen for a little while, and we're hoping she can kick us off with an open mic set. Let's welcome up Julie Mary Hoey. You got to unmute. Can you unmute?
I wasn't going to read tonight. I'm just here to listen.
Oh, okay.
But I'm glad to be back. It's been some time.
Okay, we are okay.
Sorry.
No problem. Let's go with Jan Rowe, who wasn't with us the last time. And please unmute.
I think it's unmuted.
Yep.
I'm sorry, this is just the first draft. I grew up in Southwest Pennsylvania, where an unknown amount of water has been contaminated with forever chemicals from fracking. People with sudden cancers and failed kidneys living along the Monongahela. My childhood girlfriend, I thought it had been reclaimed. She said no, and she's having kidney problems. But anyway, the FBI took the phone of Pennsylvania Scott Perry. Scott Perry was the one that brought in Jeffrey Clark to take over the Department of Justice. He was some kind of failed environmental protection lawyer. Jeffrey Clark is the one with the idea for the false electors. But only on Democracy Now! Do we know about the FBI raid of those Black Chicagoans. And they used flash grenades on them, and not like they didn't do that in Mar-a-Lago. And so where the Secret Service was notified ahead of time. Did Trump delay to return the boxes, ignore, which caused his long-term accountants to bail? That one rent request repeatedly ignored. Talk about rent control. Two kinds. The only one now existent is Trump's kind of rent control. Pay their rents to control those people. Thank you.
Thank you, Jan. So glad to have you back. The Ramdonator 5000 has selected Julie again, but we're gonna move. I'm kidding. I'm joking. We are. I am teasing. Let's go to Magister Galt, aka Edward Galt, aka Gentleman Galt. Unmute yourself, sir, and make yourself heard.
Thank you. This one is called Window. Looking out the window of the family den to the little patio surrounded by frosted grass and leaves faded orange and red. The bird feeder tilts toward the line of trees stretching toward the road. One can reach it by a path that cuts through the woods and meanders up the hill. Memories beckon as old friends. Grandfather would watch out this window at me as I raked the leaves in autumn. Squirrels would scurry about, collecting nuts for the winter. Jamie and I sled down the hill on a carpet of snow, creating deep tracks, making our mark on nature, a mark that would melt away into a new year, new snow, new tracks. Puddles left from winter snows reflected leaves rustling to spring winds. Some would be detached from the branch and drift away to the pool, a magic sanctuary for children to become mermaids. Summer's morning sun would peek through the window, would lay in bed and dream the schemes of a day yet lived to become Babe Ruth, Neptune, Jesse James, or Geronimo. Jamie was always Princess Leia. Frost gathers on the grass from year to year, just outside the window of the family den. Memories linger of yesterday's schemes, dreaming hopes for days yet lived. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Galt. Some people might be joining us later on. Let's give the hopes up. Blackbird is trying to, but she's having issues with her phone. So we'll see what happens. Coming up next on the Roundinator 5000, let's welcome up Mr. Chris Fitzgerald. Sir, are you ready to go?
You can hear me, right?
Yes.
All right. I was doing a piece that took place over 50 years ago, about a mile and a half from the Barking Crab, but I'm still going to do the piece because it's an August piece, but I had a few things worked out there. And the first page and the second page, the first page is basically what's going to happen next week. As you probably know, I'm getting a little old to be doing new girls, boys, body part poems. I did more than my fair share 30, 35 years ago. I thought I had exhausted the genre, but this July I was provoked into hopping back into that field. 10 days in a row, I got this text message. Chris, outrageous familiarity. Let us help you. You give us 6 to 10 weeks with our new pills, we'll grow your dick size 2 to 4 inches. It isn't cheap, but I think you will agree you get what you pay for. You will hear my response next week. This piece I shall read tonight I wrote 35 years ago. I like the way it's aged. It's dedicated to the people who appreciated life when it was toe to toe and face to face, not smothered by a screen and a shitload of anonymous texts.
Chris, can you hear me? We muted you by accident. You had to unmute yourself. So sorry, you had to start over. I tried to mute Blackbird and I got you instead of the
Okay.
Sorry about that.
That's all right. This is the first paragraph of next week's piece. First off, I want to thank you for your genuine concern about the size and shape of my body parts. I thought I was all alone. Go figure. I appreciate the work you do, trying to rid the world of the scourge of small picker syndrome. The World Health Organization just last year listed small pecker syndrome the 4th leading cause of group suicides and the 5th leading cause of outrageous belly laughs. Now, this is the piece I was doing across from the barking crab. I use a word in this piece that isn't a polite conversation word, tit. It isn't the tit of Playboy magazine offering Tanya Hardin $400,000 to show its readers and lookers. It isn't the tit of the combat zones, tits and ass repute, or the extreme wing of feminist thought with women being considered primarily as a possessor of certain appendages and an orifice or two. It's the tit of an 11, 12-year-old Irish-American boy with just the sound of the world who's capable of producing a smile. Tit was the first so-called dirty word that a young boy could find in a dictionary, although its definition referred to the nipple on the udder of a cow. My friends and I agreed on a field trip to the South Boston Public Library in the 6th grade that they really couldn't say what it really was, or else all hell would break out first thing in the morning. It being in a dictionary like hush money to shut us up. It would admit there was such a word, but wouldn't say what it really was. What did it feel like, Danny? What did it feel like? I was in the 7th grade. She was in, no, the 8th grade, the 9th, I distinctly remember I was a grade ahead of her. It was summer, August, getting dangerously close to back to school. Those long, hot summers, I swear Haley's Comet was by 4 times that year. The place, the beach, K Street Beach, a bit scruffy, but rich enough to impose a lifelong debt on my imagination. 3 city blocks from where I hung my hat. The days were spent diving off a wooden fence that reached welcomingly into the harbor, an activity that was frowned upon by the local authorities, IDS MDC lifeguards. The nights, well, the group I hung out with on Friday and Saturday nights, 4 or 5 boys, 12, 13, went to school or lived in the same neighborhood together, 4 or 5 girls, same as above, would engage in games, the result being boys kissing girls, girls kissing boys. The game that marked a step forward, I guess, was a game called Truth, Dare, Consequences, Promise or Repeat. In short, a player would be given 2 options from the category he or she had chosen. One of the options would be so ludicrous and ridiculous that there was only one choice. And of course, the boys knew who the boys liked. The girls knew who the girls liked. The game was basically fixed, but both sides were decent cheats. I had mentioned to a friend that I wouldn't mind taking a walk in the sand, rather grand. Would you know? The fix was on. Her turn. Truth, dare, consequences, promise or repeat. Dare. I dare you to take off all your clothes, climb up to the roof of the bathhouse, stand up proud, and shout out at the top of your lungs to Chairman Mao and his entire entourage of Chinese Communist Empire cohorts. I don't care if you're red. Let's just jump in bed. At the time, we were using Rand McNally's World Atlas as a authoritative source. This situation, estimated 1970 census was for Red China was 700 million. It was a few years and a few fistfights before the group switched to the Encyclopedia Britannica. He then said, what's my other option? Well, you can go make out with Danny here. A couple of my friends instantly break into a soft refrain of, God bless America. She looked at me. Now, I don't know what articles of clothing I had on that night, but from friends later on, I do know I was wearing my best free world grin. Looking back on that group in a pinch, extremely patriotic. Then she shows me, through the night, from the light, from above. We lay down in the sand about 50 yards from the group. We start making out American style, quickly to the French. We ease up a bit. I, so ever nonchalantly, sneak my right hand onto her fully clothed left breast. I never moved my hand, not once. All I did was kiss her and pretend my hand wasn't where it was. All she did was kiss me and pretend I was one-armed. We finally got up and went back to the game. After that night, that woman seemed to disappear totally from my memory and image bank until 20 years later, I'm walking a mile or so from the earlier scenario, and she's walking down the front stairs of a triple-decker, 3 kids in tow, 4, 6, 8, I'd say. She sees me, turns quickly to the right and blushes. I, responding to her, turn quickly to the left, probably blush, but you can't tell from your reflection in the car window, but it felt like a blush. I guess the first time I got tit was the first time she'd gave up tit. My home, sweet home. Why didn't I move my hand? I had to read Sir Edmund Hillary's book on his being the first to reach the summit of Mount Everest. 3 times I had to read it. High Adventure is its title. Sir Edmund, When he got to the top, wasn't doing handstands, somersaults, or cartwheels. Just like me, he was just happy to be there, happy to be there. Waking up the morning after that, reaching the beach, one of those days when it seemed like Mr. Sun himself with his big yellow hands clapping next to him. Good show, Danny, good show. My pleasure, Mr. Sun. Just happy to be alive. Out in the street to meet the world, 2 friends across the street, non-participants in last night's game. What'd you do last night? What'd you do last night? Well, I got tit. Well, it felt like a tit. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. And we're going to follow that somehow. We're going to follow that with a spot. Let's welcome Ms. Julian Powers, one of our new legacy poets.
This is just a short one. The woodchuck that lives under my shed likes to sit on the bottom step of my porch eating the dayflowers I'm always battling. I don't mind him in my garden. He's not the only animal eating everything I've planted. Thank you.
Get out of my garden. Okay, let's go next. We haven't heard from her in a long time. It's been too long. Blackbird. Let's have, if you want to turn to read, it's yours. All you gotta do is unmute. Hooray!
Hi. To be honest with you, I'm not really here to perform. I'm just here to kill some time. Not doing anything, so I'm not really here to perform today. I'm just here to listen. That's okay.
No problem. We got a lot of people here as conscientious objectors. No, I'm kidding. We did have someone who wasn't going to read, but is going to read now. So let us bring back, having convinced her again, Julie Marie Hoey.
Hi there.
Hello.
My poems are on my phone where I'm trying to see you all at the same time. This is called Poison. A coat hanger in our hearts, your religion, a false bridge into your greed and power. Hour after hour, you devour our basic health. Evil stealth slithers in with poison, eliminating our innate choice in freedom. We know it's just the start of contradictions, constrictions, restrictions, condone, control, a foxhole and sinkhole. Evil stealth slithers in with poison, eliminating our innate choice in freedom. Thank you.
Thank you, Julie. Who do we have next? This is going fast. Let's go to next, Mr. John Wezick.
Hi, Chad. I'm
Hello.
wearing a hat in solidarity with James tonight. So I was watching a podcast with a Texas professor, David Buss, and it inspired this poem called "An Evolutionary Psychologist Explains Why You'll Never Find Love." Football playing elk outcompete those who study trigonometry. Peacocks with the latest smartphones choose from a wider pool of potential mates, and bowerbirds who take out subprime mortgages instead of renting. Giraffes exaggerate their height on eHarmony, mud dauber waves their waist to hip ratio, and June bugs lie about their age. Instead of visiting aging parents, female bonobos dance with bad boy apes in smoky honky-tonks. Nursery web spiders swap drugstore chocolates for Belgian in gold gift boxes. Prairie voles undermine their partner's confidence to keep them from trading up. Lions make terrible stepdads. Hares play hard to get. Thanks, everybody.
Lions make terrible stepdads.
Oh yeah, the male lion will kill kill the cubs that aren't his own, and so they
I
can.
do love that. That was awesome.
Yeah.
That was very good. I'm gonna chip in. I'm trying to practice my reading. I have been I've been keeping up my quotas of like the readings, although I do have a reading I think coming up in the winter at the Walnut Cafe in Lynn, if I actually agree on a date. But and I do want to thank everyone who tuned in, by the way, to even watch for a little bit the Boston Poetry Marathon this past weekend. This was not one of the poems I read then. I did read an Alex Jones piece, which is up for consideration at a publication right now, so I'll hold off on that. This one's the Stone Soup Crouton from last week, which I like if only for the title. This one's called Bukowski's Gun Goes Off When It Wants to. Assets are merged with the October bulbs, not buried deep enough to grow into anything. Bukowski only planted beer in his shallow fridge. When he took it out, it was still same beer. Magical. Humans are their own worst weed, self-exile from the big garden, choke each other once in school. Meanwhile, law waits outside so they can label a winner. Outrage later with every choice mad-libbed word. Victims resort to last insult to beat the bullet or be own cancer, eat body out before the shooter enters. Maybe free his own body before coordinated attack of latest plague, either their spirit or another lesson. Either their spit or another lesson. I have to learn to read smaller words. What did fellow field mouse do this time to get eaten, then rejected? Failure to convince means you're next. Best answer all questions with future ghost pre-dawn before anyone walks into fireball. You have to dodge. Keep remaining cents in pockets. Ignore people who ask for it on street, want you to pay for their straw houses. Folks, this is why I need to learn to read more. Next round will be better, I promise. Let us go now to close the first round of the round robin. To Mr. James Van Looy and look for his column next week, or actually this Thursday at oddballmagazine.com. It's all one thing by 11 o'clock tomorrow. Mr. Van Looy, I believe you're up.
Hi, everybody. So I wanted to read a short piece here that's from Marshall McLuhan. I like to read him occasionally because I think he helps us to kind of understand how technology actually is causing constant change and revolution in our whole social structure. But this is from his book, The Media is the Massage. And in there's a section where he talks about your school and your family and your work life. And this is a section on your government. So here's a piece about government from 1968 by Marshall McLuhan. Nose counting, a cherished part of the 18th century fragmentation process, has rapidly become a cumbersome and ineffectual form of social assessment in an environment of instant electric speeds. The public, in the sense of a great consensus of separate and distinct viewpoints, is finished. Today, the mass audience, the successor to the public, can be used as a creative participating force. It is instead merely given packages of passive entertainment. Politics offers yesterday's answers to today's questions. A new form of politics is emerging, and in ways we haven't yet noticed. The living room has become a voting booth. Participation via television in freedom marches, in war, revolution, pollution, and other events is changing everything. And I have a piece here that I wrote called The Next Iteration. They keep saying how divided we are. Never has there been such a partisan divide, as if we never had a civil war that killed over 600,000 people, South rising up against North and splitting the old party lines into new formation. But what they refuse to even mention, much less talk about, is the vast disinformation, really propaganda campaign deployed my entire lifetime in Madison Avenue ads, but then ramped up in the 1970s to paroxysms of Chamber of Commerce, manufacturers organization, combined with gobs of billionaire billions to buy politicians, made legal in 1976 and 1978 by Supreme Court Supremes, saying money is speech, to put out a flood of lies, to end official reports and scientific consensus process, and create a debate about established facts, and sully and deform any vestige of the truth that might survive the information war come culture war that has left us unable to even to talk to those people, family members, friends, even lovers and closest confidants. So we can only wonder how did it so finally come to this ugly, awful place when it's all been done with such technical skill, such public relations panache, such consummate professional standards of production and display. And let me see if I can find here. Yes, here we go. Memories, memories, dreams of love so true. O'er the sea of memory, I'm drifting back to you. Childhood days, wildhood days, among the birds and bees. You left me alone, but still you're my own in my beautiful memories. Thank you. Oh.
Thanks, James. And why don't you keep your mic on, and because we're going to start the round robin again, we'll go back to Jan Rowe if she's got something to read.
There you go.
Okay, I'm sorry, this is also a first draft. This is actually a kind of obituary. Albert Woodfox died age 75 of COVID this week. He had spent 40 plus years in solitary. One of the Black Panthers, one of the Angola 3. You may remember another one of them. The warden had to be threatened to be imprisoned himself if he didn't release that guy, Herman Wallace, who died in a couple of days after release. There's one left. So the thing that gets me is Albert Woodfox was able to smile and not be bitter about all this. And he actually, and his lawyers cited Mandela. Nelson Mandela was in prison 27 years for nothing, invited his jailer to his inauguration. But so, and he taught people to read. I guess in Angola, the bars were open to the floor. So he actually taught people to read there. So the lawyer and Albert Woodfox said that if the cause is noble, a person can carry the weight of the world. And Nelson's quote got him through. He has to be treated for claustrophobia, as you might imagine, after 40 plus years in solitary, where they gas them. They were accused of stabbing a prison guard and they didn't do it. Even the widow said that, but there was no death penalty. So they actually would gas them in solitary. Thank you. Jesus, I'm going from bad to worse, honey.
Thanks, Jan. Thanks, James. A lot of information being shared on the in the chat. I'm trying to find a video, and I urge you to go on Twitter and find it because it's a Reuters. I think it's based on the Reuters news site. When the Department of Justice, I'm sorry, when the FBI was done searching Trump's house, there was a tailgate party for Trump. They were like weird protesters who were like walking on the streets. And I think they were like a couple miles down in a beach area. It's Florida, everything's a beach area or a swamp. But they had all these trucks with Trump flags. And an amazing moment, which I was able to see live, was there was a truck just like blaring music from the radio. Tom Petty's "I Won't Back Down" was one of the songs, but then they started playing the song "Renegade" by Styx. Yes, and Julian knows and they got to the part where the news is out, the jig is up. They finally found me, a renegade who had it made, and the guy in the truck actually got what was happening. He switched to the country music station. He figured out what the song was actually saying. It was pretty damn hilarious. Who do we have that just joined us? Is this E? Oh, Ethan Mackler. Hey, Ethan. Straight from his gig at the Garage Poets and not content to rest on his laurels either. We'll put you at the end, sir, if you want to come. That's great. We're gonna go now to Mr. Gentleman Galt, aka Magister Galt, aka Ed. Your time is up at the podium, sir. Well, your time has come.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. This one is called Playground Controversy. We in the dummy class would spell it Molekeule. Others, the normal kids, scolded that we could not go a paragraph without screwing up. Somebody pointed out that in some languages, like German, the spelling would have been correct, but nobody had a English-German dictionary on hand, so we couldn't prove it. Thus, the spelling versus pronunciation controversy raged on. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Magister Galt. We now go to lifelong Magister and Rankator, Chris Fitzgerald. Do you have another one for us, Chris? If so, unmute yourself and let's have you be heard.
Well, I wasn't really prepared for a second one because I thought I was performing live tonight, but I know everyone's doing such short ones and I just do long ones. I came back here after a 20-year absence on August 3rd, 2015. I remember the date so clearly. That was the day my 96-year-old mother died. My mother wasn't just my best friend the last 10 years of her life. My mother was just as good a company as anyone I ever met. Even at 96, when she had her A game on, it was good as anyone else's in the room. She seemed to be able to get as much joy out of the 60 seconds that the Unforgiven minute would allow. I'd go to her house on Monday nights and watch movies, perhaps a BBC series. I'd always bring her some freshly made chocolate or butterscotch pudding with real whipped cream. My mother wasn't poor, though Donald Trump would have considered her a loser. Casablanca was one of the movies we would watch, say, once every 6 months, always catching something new that we had missed before. My earliest memories of Casablanca have a Cambridge connection. 30, 40 years ago, Harvard Square Movie Theater, across from the train station, across from the dormitories, blocking Harvard Yard, right on Mass Ave, before videos, before DVDs, before live streaming. If you wanted to see a movie that was 6 months old, 6 years old, 60 years old, you had to go to a second-run movie house. Harvard Square had one of the best on the planet. For $2.50, $3, you got to see 2 movies. Whomever did the arrangements, extremely talented. 2 Scorsese, Lum de Lie, Mean Streets. You talking to me, fuckhead? Taxi Driver. 2 Wertmullers, Swept Away, 7 Beauties. Bertolucci, Bergman, Godard, Garland with that rainbow thing, Cooper with that clock that wouldn't stop ticking. Do Not Forsake. I think I saw Casablanca with African Queen. The first time I saw it, it changed my life. No, it changed the way I saw Casablanca. I guess one of the rituals of the freshmen and sophomores, Harvard University, during the singing of the Marseillaise in the movie, 20, 30, 18, 19-year-old kids would stand up in front of their seats and sing along. Outrageously entertaining. I now stand and sing, sure, I don't know all the words, but that's not the only song I have the problem with. Back to the Bogart gesture. He's upstairs in the office, engaged in a Hollywood babe battle with Ingrid Bergman's husband. Ask your wife. Ask your wife. The German soldiers in the saloon downstairs have a few beers in them. At this point, gather around the piano. Let's sing some German fight songs. Dear Fatherland, dear Fatherland. Victor Laszlo, Ilsa's husband, hears the German sing, doesn't like it. Puts the babe battle on hold. Goes downstairs and asks the saloon band to play La Marseillaise. There's stirrings, but no pronounced movements. Bogey comes down, gives the band the affirmative nod. The band jumps up and plays 2 minutes or so of as celebratory music the cinematic world has ever had to offer. With the free French, the free Europeans, the anti-heroic American saying is similar to what poets have been saying for thousands of years when they feel besieged. Go blank yourself, shit. You may be winning now, but the game isn't over yet. The last time we watched that movie, my mother, the last 2 years of her life, basically bedridden, wheelchair, etc. When the French national anthem was winding down, the Spanish guitar player is about to chant. My mother sits up erect in a bed, beats her by a second, and joyously announces, "Vive la France!" Maybe I did have some influence on my mother's behavior, but this was unscripted and unrehearsed. My mother was in the moment, 1,000 times more beautiful than anything on the screen. 2 years or 20 or 40, before I hand in my dinner pail, hop on the last rattler, bite the big one. If my last moment of consciousness, I've had a vision of my mother chanting Vive la France, what can I say? I've had a beautiful life. In closing, I'm from a different era. Growing up, public speakers always thank the little people. So tonight, I want to thank the little people who made this night possible. My father, Shorty, my mother, Tiny. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. And we're going to go now to Julian Powers.
Like the wind, he's in and out again, barely replying, saying maybe next time. He's fading into another life, or maybe back to one of his old selves. He brings his hell wherever he runs, reaching out to a shadow, now a remaining shell, the one that whispers, but it's so cheap and inevitable. He leaves the ground, flying blindly towards the fire. He can't shake himself, so he's focused on the clouds. No amount of love will make him love himself. He's in and out again, just watching the wind carry him away, burning. Thank you.
So, whoops, should have unmuted myself. Sorry. Up next, thank you, Julie. Thank you, Julianne. And here's Julie. Julie Mary Hoey. or Joel Hoey, or what, however you abbreviate your name on the box.
I don't know how it's abbreviated, so whatever it says, go with it.
It's almost like a cry, like a rallying cry. Joel Hoey! I don't know, but enough of me, the forum is yours.
Okay. 2,000 dead from Earth, eliminated. In Portugal and Spain, how many more? How quickly? Because of our will and against our will. Our will. Oh no, it's acting weird. Sorry, my document got weird. Against our will. Our will. The legacy we leave our children, our children's children, but not likely theirs. They'll be brutally fried or brutally starved or brutally drowned by then. By then, flooding, erosion, fire, drought, all throughout, all throughout. And if you do not believe climate change is the cause, why not act as if, just in case, just in case, just in case, couldn't we immediately change our course for the sake of Mother Earth, our only home? We cannot afford to forsake our only home. 2,000 dead, eliminated from Earth, our only home, our only home. Thank you. My next one will be positive, I promise.
We can wait. We're poets. We see the world how it is. You take your time. We'll let it organically grow. Let us go now to our hard-boiled poet, Mr. John Wezek.
Okay, here's, oh, by the way, Chad, I posted the lyrics of the Marseillaise in the chat in case you wanted to sing it at the end of the reading.
Oh God, we got enough musical. Can I give you a confession? I never heard the entirety of Poison Pigeons in the Park. I only knew like a couple of things, so I have to actually go back. I would have been better off singing Fred Blassie's Pencil Neck Geek. So I promise I will work on that when I have time.
Yeah, when they see us coming, the birdies all try and hide, except when we bring peanuts coated with cyanide. Okay, here's my attempt to improve upon Lawrence Ferlinghetti. I am waiting for the Budweiser bullfrogs, and I am waiting for a Tammy Faye of mustard. I am waiting for my hypotenuse to be called, and I am waiting for needles and Brill cream to reclaim the diamonds as theirs, and I am waiting for the menopause of anxiety, and I am waiting for the final withering away of all segways and crosswalks, and I am waiting for hash browns and neutron stars to fall like hydrogen, and I am waiting for Benifer and the Aflac duck to lie down together again in a new Tammy Faye of mustard. I am waiting for the second Pornhub, and I am waiting for the quarks of cortisol to be stored, and I am waiting for escargot to come to the final darkest temptations, and I am waiting for sulfuric acid to grow pistols by the pepper mill, and I am waiting to see granite slabs on Pat Sajak roach clipped onto church altars if only they can find the right maple syrup, and I am waiting for the leftover shumai to be served again, the strange new tablespoon, and I am perpetually awaiting a new Tammy Faye of mustard. I am waiting to get some intimations of Cleveland by recollecting my S&H green stamps, and I am waiting for a reconstructed Viking ship to reach bacon and pancakes with its picture story, and Pat Sajak rides sold in advance as Spam sushi in a new Tammy Faye of mustard, and I am perpetually waiting for the dewormed lovers in Grecian formula to throw the last fastballs and embrace, and I am waiting perpetually and forever for a renaissance of mustard.
Thank you, John. The mustard renaissance. It is upon us soon. Let us get some musical guests on. Ethan Mackler, are you ready to give us your musical interlude here? The Pulse of Stone Soup is back. The Pulse of the Garage Poets is back. They're both one and the same person, and he's many other things as well. Let's welcome up Ethan Mackler. Bravo, sir. Very good. So glad to have you back. So glad you're on. So glad the tour has been called off for a little while due to excruciating heat and no one wants to go out anywhere. But hopefully we'll get you back in the at the live Stone Soup. I was telling people before we even started that they want us there more than once a month now. They want 1 month to be a feature and 1 month to be an all open mic situation. And if we agree to that, I think they're going to provide us with connections to at least other poetry groups who want to join forces. So it could make for a very interesting future for the open mic scene in that area. I mean, Seaport does have an open mic scene. There's actually a last Friday of the month open mic they've been doing there for a while. And there's a Boston Arts podcast. So a lot of things can be opening up once it actually cools down below 81 degrees, you know, like in the shade. So hopefully more announcements will be coming for that. We're going to close it off with, we're going to keep the music going, hopefully, with Mr. James Van Looy. Look for his column tomorrow at 11 a.m. It's all one thing at oddballmagazine.com.
Okay. So I got this poem here called First you cry. First you cry, and then your nose runs and runs. Or was it the nose first, followed by those tears? It's impossible to tell when you can't even know if you had that virus or that other so viral one. But the one thing you know for sure, it's changing so fast that never, ever will it never be the same. Even though when you do look at the contending factions of the duopoly, so many are tempted again to say they are the same because, see, all one thing. They are the interlocking parts of one big system. Everyone's worst nightmare of an abusive relation, sociopathic pair, together doing exactly what neither would do alone. One acting out person, the other audience, and accomplish in this dysfunctional family dance of the big daddy and mate who just takes it time after time, endless, absent, out to lunch concern that never manages to mount that real resistance, because resistance will be seen as slit-eyed retaliation, and the retaliation to any even faint halting symbol of deviation will lead automatically, demonic quick, to alienation, evisceration, annihilation, on and on the spot, right there where lives sign of weakness, all whole waiting right there just for that single tear, much less that running, dripping, clear snot, unblown nose. Okay.
I like that.
Okay, so I got a song here. It's a little bit long, but I hope you'll be patient with me. This is the Dutch version of Let It Go, which is from Frozen. De sneeuwklank zakt in het manlijk benacht van een voetstap geen blijk. Het leger verlaten land is vanaf nu mijn koninkrijk. Van de storm die in mijn boot had to no toe niemand weet. Het wordt mij te veel hoe ik mijn best begeet. Laat niemand toe, strekt niemand aan. Wees voor hem en ga hier niet vandaan. Doe niets, dat is raad. That's nu te laat. Laat het los, laat het gaan. Het moet aan, ja dat moet. Laat het los, laat het gaan. Sluit de deuren nu for good. What men are over mij beweert, raakt me hier niet meer. En kou heb me sowieso nooit gedeerd. Het is grappig dat wat afstand zo snel meer insect gaf. Want de vries die mij steeds voortjoog, glijdt nou op van mij af. Ik ga op zoek naar wie ik ben, verleden vrezen die ik ken. Geen goed of fout geldt hier voor mij. Ik ben vrij, laat het los, laat het gaan. Voorbij is de storm in mij. Laat het los, laat het gaan. Geen tranen meer voorbij. Hier begint mijn nieuw bestaan, onbevreesd en vrij. Mijn kracht neemt toe en schept en zolen van steen. Mijn speelboot en kasteel en ijskristallen om die heen. In elk kristal verklinkt die echo van mijn geest. Ga nooit, niet nooit terug, verleden is geweest. Laat het los, laat het gaan. Ja, ik rijs uit de kilte af. Laat het los, laat het gaan. Op deze hoge top, hier begint nu mijn leven hier. Vrij en onbevreesd. De kou is voor mij nooit een point gewest. And that, of course, last line is, the cold is not a problem for me. Thank you. It's actually, you should listen to it on YouTube or something. It's really, the woman who sings it is just wonderful. It's just a
I'll have to look it up.
It's actually a wonderful song. It's a wonderful lyric, and in Dutch, it's actually probably better than it is in the English. So anyway, Frozen, Disney strikes again.
Oh, God. Thank you,
Shush.
James.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, James. And thanks to everyone for coming to the open mic. I have to go apply an ice pack to somebody. So someone said dog alert. Where's the dog? Where'd the pug go? Is it the pug again? Yes, there he is.
Yeah.
There he is. Oh, no, wait, is it he or she? It's a she, right?
It's a she. Her name's
It's a she.
Nico.
What's her name?
Nico.
Her name's Nico.
Nico. Oh,
Like the Velvet Underground?
Yes, exactly. Not named after her, but that name.
cute little goal. Aw, cute little. Can she do the wave? She can do the wave. There we go. Let's all do the wave with Nico. Let Nico know she's loved. Adorable. More announcements will be made for next week. We're getting more features finalized. It looks like it'll happen more. Regular online features will happen again in September rather than August, but we'll keep the hopes up. It's getting very slow to contact anyone now. I don't know if everyone's always working or everyone's finally had enough of Zuckerberg and Facebook, but I am trying to contact people as much as I can to finalize stuff. James, I think I sent you a text a little while ago for September, so I'll hear back from you hopefully soon. And the rest of you, you'll hear when I know. So I want to thank you all for your patience for tonight, and hope I'll be heading with my girlfriend to the MRI the MRI hospital. Yeah, I know how to talk. I'll be there. We'll be taking her to the hospital to get an MRI done, and hopefully we'll have better news. So thank you guys all for your patience. Thanks for joining us here tonight, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you, Chad. Nice
Have
to
a good night,
see you
guys.
all again.
See you guys.
Come back again, Julie.
I will. Bye.
Take
Good night,
care.
Bye.